Town, New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know, however, is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you. Because that's New Orleans, and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Never a truer word today, actually. Other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar. Today we're at the fabulous Wayfair on Ferret Street, which is home of the fabulous summer drink called the Frosé. It's a perfect summer drink made with dry rosé, vodka, Saint-Germain, Peychaud's bitters, lemon juice, and a house-made strawberry basil syrup. Nobody's got one here today because they ran out of the machine. But by the time you hear this, the machine's going to be working again, I promise you. This is a very eclectic bunch of New Orleanians we have around the table here today. Amy Irvin is here, the executive director of the Knoll Abortion Fund. It's nice to have you back and see you not in your vagina costume.
Well, but I did come dressed appropriately.
You are covered in sort of fake blood. I hope it's fake blood.
It is fake blood.
Is it supposed to be fake menstrual blood or
it's
abortion?
It's like a raspberry jello.
Interesting.
Yeah. What is the concept, actually, of having blood all over
Well,
you?
so my T-shirt says U.S. out of my uterus.
Does it? Wow.
Yes, it does. And
Okay.
I've just come from a pro-choice rally in New Orleans, so...
Okay, did you have trouble remembering the word choice there? Pro something. There's a
I've
pro
been
something,
drinking.
really. All right. Well, it is happy hour, so you don't have to be totally sober for happy hour.
I'm also usually in front of a camera and need to be very
Well, this is a camera.
particular with my words.
Yeah. You'll be very careful about what you say here. Well, anyway, so it was a pro-choice rally in New Orleans because we're back on the whole abortion kick again.
Yes, we are.
20, 30, 40 years later, we're still talking about whether or not we should be having an abortion.
That's correct.
Let's get to that in a minute. And Théophile Bourgeois the fourth, is that right?
That's right.
The fourth is here. May the fourth be with you.
Happy to be here.
What do people call someone who's the fourth? Talking to that microphone.
People call me Théophile, TJ. A lot of people call me TJ.
People say someone who's the third is called Trey. Is there a thing for fourth?
Well, you know, my dad they call Tofi.
Tofi.
They call me TJ in my family, and I have a son who's the fifth. We call him Tofi as well.
Oh, he's the fifth.
This is kind of crazy. We call him Little Toe.
Little Toe. How do you spell Tofi?
Tofi, T-H-E-O-P-H-Y.
Oh,
I
see,
don't know.
the
It's just
whole
a
thing
fabricated. It's a mess,
The
man.
whole thing
It's
is
a
trick.
mess.
No, Théophile is spelt, by the way, if you're following along, T-H-E-O-P-H-I-L-E.
Yeah, I just learned how to spell it last week.
It's an alphabet soup.
It was actually French, right?
Cajun French.
It's Cajun French.
Yeah.
But originally it was regular old French.
I guess. Yeah, sure.
So
You go back
how do
far
they
enough.
say it?
How do they say it?
Yeah.
Théophile.
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 Okay,
But I
all right.
can't go walking around and introduce myself as Théophile. It sounds pretentious. Théophile's fine.
What do you think?
I think with that accent, it's not pretentious.
Should I go Teo?
Théophile.
This is
Théophile.
the moment I turn the page.
You want to do it?
Am I,
Should
from
we
this
go with
moment
it?
on, I'm Théophile. I'll drink to that.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it. Théophile.
Théophile from this moment on.
It
man.
was
I
hard
love
enough
it.
for me to master Théophile just for the show, but now I have to try
Yeah,
Théophile as well. Okay, very good. We've sorted that out. Jonathan Blake Vasquez is here as well.
Yes.
Jonathan, hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing
You've
great.
got an awesome outfit on. You have a bandana.
Thank you.
What is that? A brown, white, and...
It's like a bandana. That's what I call it, but it's considered a scarf. But,
Okay.
I don't like to tell people I'm wearing a scarf. You know, it's kind of. Like,
It's got a sort of a
that's what a
badass
woman usually
look.
wears. Thank you.
Don't you think?
Thank you.
What sort of image are you trying to portray with that?
Well, really, I just want my hair to grow, and I was like, I don't want to cut it, but it gets in my face.
Yeah.
So I had to. I was like,
So
let
you
me.
wait until it grows long enough to tie it back.
You want it to be as long as Graham's hair. That's
My
Exactly.
hair is very
exactly.
long.
I like it.
That's-
Look how long that is.
But I've been growing that. I'm like 115 years old. That's why it's so long. And Jonathan is the host of a podcast called The Truth Hurts,
Truth Hurts podcast.
which
yes,
is
sir.
a really interesting podcast.
Very
and you're a
interesting.
photographer as well.
Yes, sir.
And you
Yes,
find
sir.
this interesting because the person sitting next to you, Alison Moon, is also a photographer.
Oh, really?
Although she
Yeah.
quit taking photos for
She
us
quit?
here at Happy Hour
You didn't
Well, we
pay
gotta
enough.
talk
to
about
go
that
to
later.
Oxford University to study some damn thing or other. So
Master's
welcome
program.
back.
Oh, nice.
So this is Alison's just come back for the first time in a year.
So we got a lot of visual artists in the building.
Yeah, so Théophile is a visual artist.
Yeah.
You're a photographer, and Alison's a photographer.
Yes.
So Alison, welcome back to Happy Hour.
Thank you.
I've never ever talked to you into coming on the show for how many years did you shoot the show for?
It was probably like 3.5, almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years, and you would never come on except for the one time when you happened to be in a terrorist attack.
Yes.
What?
Check that. Tell them the story about
I
that.
gotta hear that.
I was in Paris the day of the terrorist attacks. That was, I forget the year. It was 2000.
At the Eagles of Death Metal show?
Yes.
Yes.
And I was actually supposed to go to that show, but I was way too hungover from Champagne Country the day before. So I ended up going to an underground jazz show instead, which was
Even
for my
worse for
benefit.
your hangover, I would have thought, frankly.
Well, good thing for hangovers.
Yes.
Shout out to Hangovers.
Shout out to God and His
Right.
plan to
Give thanks.
Did you think that God saved your life?
I think it was probably alcohol more likely. I would prefer to credit hungover alcohol
Well,
than
I tell you what, you sound pretty bad today. What's up with your voice?
I'm not sure. I
thanks,
don't know.
Just
It's-
started sounding rough.
Maybe I'm not used to the Louisiana heat yet. I'm having a heat stroke.
I think it sounds kind of sexy, though, don't you guys?
Yeah.
Amy, what do you think?
I think so, definitely.
I can dig
Yeah.
it. I can dig
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
Jonathan?
also not used
I
to
can
being on the
definitely
mic. You're making me nervous.
Are you nervous? I'll have more of
voices.
that. What are you actually drinking? It looks like sort of muddy water.
I've asked them the name of this so many times.
I think that's just half dishwater and half old
It totally
Pepsi.
looks like that, doesn't it?
It's got
It's what you might have found in a New Orleans puddle.
Yeah, that's what it looks
Swamp
like, but it's
water.
really good.
It's puddle water, exactly.
If
Hey,
this is what puddle water tasted like, then I'd be lapping it up every day.
how would we know what puddle water tastes like?
Only one way to find out.
Right.
Hey, Alison, I want to ask you all about what it's like to be an actual intelligent student in a minute, but first of all, let me tell you this. Today's show is brought to us by Nola Pans, the only pens made from a fallen Audubon Park live oak tree, which I'm holding in my hand. Who wants to try this pen out?
Shout out to Nola
I'll
Pins.
try.
Try that out, Amy. You can write on the tablecloth if you want, or you can write on my notes if you want, but it just makes it more difficult
Oh,
for
it
me to
makes
see.
my
That's a
signature
beautiful
look really
signature.
good.
Isn't it a beautiful pen to use?
Feels so nice.
It really is made from an Audubon Park live oak tree that fell over in Audubon Park, and this guy,
It's got good weight to it.
isn't it a good pen? And you're a professional, actually. You're drawing all day.
Terrible penmanship, but I can draw you a beautiful letter.
What do you mean, you terrible penmanship?
I
You're a
don't know,
tattoo
man.
artist.
I can draw you a name that's beautiful. You ask me to write it, it's terrible looking. But this
Okay, that's
feels,
just a scary situation there.
Yeah, I
so
don't know.
you're tattooing people's bodies with permanent.
I've been tricking people into letting me tattoo them for 14 years. It's beautiful. Fake it till
But
you
you
make
can't
it.
write.
Yeah,
You can't
that's
write
great.
your own name neatly,
That's great. No.
even with a
You
fancy.
can't even read that. What is
That's how I
that?
sign
You
things.
guys need to quit
Look at
drinking
that.
right now. I think. Okay, that is that your real signature?
I'm better at sound effects. Oh, yeah.
That's why he's
Fun-
called
I've gotten
Tofio. How can you?
I
No,
got
it's not
pulled over.
Tofio. It's Teofio.
Teo. I'm Teo today. Teofil. I got pulled over once, and my signature on my license, because I was a young buck, I was 16, I wrote my whole name out. And I got pulled over, and I just signed it like I do today. I basically do a T and a
Just a
squiggle.
squiggle.
And the guy goes, "That's not your signature." And I was like, "Well, can I see how I signed it?" And he takes my license and holds it to his chest. He's like, "Try again." I was like, "Dude, what?" Okay, I don't know. No, this is a
Did
great
you end
pen.
up getting taken downtown?
No, I had
for
my
that one?
kid with me, luckily.
Thank
I
God you
carry
had
my
kids.
kid. I carry a kid around so I don't get
Yeah.
no heat.
It's a pretty expensive way to stop getting arrested, though.
Yeah.
You know, probably a lawyer would have been cheaper. Anyway, this pen is made from a fallen Audubon Park live oak tree, and you can get yourself one by going to nolapens.com. It's an expertly crafted limited edition writing instrument, and it really is honestly gorgeous.
Nola Pins.
Thanks to Basics on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue. Basics underneath sells fine lingerie, and Basics Swim and Gym has a full range of fashion swimsuits, workout, and yoga clothes with style. And thanks to the Positive Vibrations Foundation, who create and encourage community through the development and preservation of the arts, music, culture, and heritage, including last week's Bayou Boogaloo. Did anyone get to go to that?
I did.
What'd you think? Pretty cool.
It was cool. It's great.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty enjoyable. So thanks to the Positive Vibrations Foundation who put it on. And if you'd like to be a member of our Happy Hour family, go to patreon.com and search for It's New Orleans Happy Hour. And for as little as $1 a month, you too can be a member of our Happy Hour family and get all sorts of exclusive stuff, like our free 3D chess game from whatever the name of that company is, F10 something or other. If Andrew Siroc and Asher Griffith will ever get around to actually giving that away. What is the hold-up on that, by the way? I'm not going on about that. Anyway, Alison, so you left here, you left New Orleans, and you went off to England to become what exactly?
I am studying international management and international relations. It's a Master's of Science, and I finished my 2 semesters. It's only a year program, so right now I'm working on my dissertation, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm writing that on yet, but over the past couple of days I've been very into researching how to increase community engagement in floodwater management in New Orleans, because it floods here all the time, and everybody just points the finger at sewage and water board, and it's your fault. It's your fault.
It is pretty much their fault.
Well, it's not. There's
Claiborne
a lot,
Avenue flooded this morning, for example.
There's a lot of issues that go
Right
into
outside
it.
the sewage and water board.
There's a lot of issues that
That's a
go
true
into
story.
it.
I had
There
a
are.
detour with that,
Yes.
Well,
And there's-
thankfully, otherwise there wouldn't be much of a PhD. You could just write that on the back of a matchbox, basically.
But I mean, there's a lot of things that the communities themselves can do to start actively participating, and so I would like to try to research ways of getting the community more involved into that.
Well, we all have our floats already.
Yeah. So we're ready.
We tested
have your
them out
floaty wings?
at my
Wow.
Boogaloo last week.
Did you? That's right. I saw that on Facebook. You bought like a donut.
Yeah.
Did you go floating on that for real?
I actually did not take my donut float out into the bayou.
Good thinking, because
but
I wouldn't put my ass in that water.
That's
People are-
exactly what my friend said.
Yeah, people are floating. Oh, there's thousands of people, probably 1,000 or more people floating in that disgusting bayou water. I wouldn't do that.
No, thank you.
Your ass might get eaten up.
Yeah, something. You're going to catch.
Your ass might get me up.
You're going to catch something, don't you think, Jonathan?
Right, like alligators or something.
That's what I'm taking away
Or
from this.
worse.
Worse. Like what?
I don't know, Giardia.
Your ass could get eaten up. What's worse than that?
I would think you'd get some sort of parasite that the more of your guts would get
Yeah.
eaten up from the inside. That's what
No.
would worry me. So, Alison, why are you going to have to go to Oxford University to study? Why can't you go to UNO and do that?
Well, I didn't know
been to
this.
Does Oxford flood often?
No, it doesn't at all. But I'm nearby to the Netherlands, and they've got their shit figured out. So
They do.
I'm gonna try to maybe go over to the Netherlands and try to see what they're doing. And I
That'd
mean,
be
their
cool.
their community is very actively engaged. They start understanding about flood water management when they're little children.
Well, why do they have it figured out? And I guess that's why you have to do the research.
Yeah.
I wonder why they do have it figured out and we don't. Though.
Yeah, I'm not. I think it's kind of in their culture. They understand it. They've been at the forefront of this technology for like 60 years.
Well, we've been here for 300 years.
Yeah.
Drinking. That's
That's
all
what
we're
it is.
catching.
you think?
Yeah, we've just been drunk.
Well, what do the Dutch do? They've got legalized hash and pot.
Ah, true.
They pay a lot higher taxes. They're more committed to
Okay.
paying higher taxes to fund a lot of these programs, whereas in,
Well, that might be the problem.
it's like pulling teeth to do anything in New Orleans.
Well, we pay a lot of taxes, that's for sure.
Not compared to what the Dutch
No?
end up paying.
Are you kidding? Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure
Property
the
taxes here,
statistics, but yeah.
I think property taxes here are pretty high for what we get, which is nothing.
Yeah.
What do we get for? Do you have a house here, Amy? Where do you live?
No, I don't have a house here.
You were
I
living
live
at the-
uptown. I'm renting.
You're renting uptown.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you were living at the beach at one point.
I was
Which
living
was
at
a
the
great
beach.
idea.
It was perfect. I was paying
Were you in
$650 for a 2-bedroom apartment on the
600.
beach
Wow. But
in Mississippi,
You see,
Oh,
that's not-
Mississippi.
which was a
yeah,
bit
that's not
problematic.
really the beach, though, right, Jonathan? Is that what you're going to say?
Well, yeah, I just came from Florida. It was beautiful.
Isn't
By
it
the
beautiful?
way, Destin.
Yes,
And
nice.
I was on the
Yep.
beach. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted to share that with you guys.
I'm sure you didn't want to come back, did you?
I didn't want to come back. I was having a
hate
good
coming
time.
back. I know, it's beautiful there. But living in Mississippi is not quite, I wouldn't call that the beach.
Well,
I
we're
know.
in Mississippi.
He's
right,
out.
right there in Bay St. Louis, which is a lovely town.
It's
but
like it's
the water
basically
is murky.
It's brown, and you can walk out almost probably half a mile.
But they do have the Frida Fest there.
What's
Yeah.
that?
The Frida Fest.
Honoring Frida Kahlo.
Do they really?
Yeah.
In Bay St. Louis?
Yes, in Bay St. Louis.
Why would they do that?
Well, because there's no other reason to go there.
Why did they pick?
for the
why
Frida
did they?
Fest.
Why did they
Coconut
pick her?
shrimp and Frida Kahlo.
They have a pirate festival out there. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
They do?
It's true. They do.
Okay, so anyway, what's it like being a graduate student and like around a whole bunch of brainiacs compared to hanging out here with us?
Well, they don't understand day drinking. That's like the one thing that I'm having trouble adjusting to in Oxford. They like to go out at 9 o'clock, and I'm like, well, what are y'all doing before? It's 5 o'clock. We're done with school. Like, let's go have a drink somewhere. And they're just
They're
like,
studying,
no,
Allison.
we're gonna go out later. No, they're not. They're not. Not
What
all
are
of
they
them.
doing between 5 and 9?
I don't know. I haven't been able to figure it out yet.
Haven't you made any friends?
I've made friends, but they're just like, oh yeah, we'll see you at 9, and I'm like, well, Might already
What are
be
they
drunk
like?
by then.
What are they like, your friends there? What sort of people are going there?
It's mostly international students. I do have a few friends that are local from the UK, but it's mostly international. Like a lot of Chinese students, Taiwanese, German, lots of German students.
Really,
But
that's
yeah.
interesting. So there aren't any actual British people at Oxford?
They're all undergrad students. The British people are all undergrad
Yeah,
students.
that's a very bizarre situation, isn't it?
It's a,
I wouldn't expect that.
yeah.
See, what's it like being a foreigner
Oh, it's not
in
bad at
England?
all.
Do
They're
they
very
people look down on you?
No, they're very welcoming, especially to the students, because they understand that you're here and you're promoting their community. But I've never had
found
any
with
issues.
any time that I've been only in London, I've been treated like a second-class citizen.
Oh, really?
Definitely. It's because I have a New Zealand accent, and that once you're from the colonies, maybe if you have an American accent, it's different, is it?
It might be different.
Do you get a lot of questions about President Trump?
Yes, but if I do, then and if they're aggressive with it, I'm just like, well, Brexit. Y'all don't have y'all don't
Right,
have
they're
it figured
stupider
out
than we
either.
are now.
So,
Yeah, we might have elected Trump, but
Yep.
they're even stupider. So what's the story with the Trump situation here, Amy?
What do you mean?
What
Graham?
is going on now that you're thrust back into national politics again?
Well, yes, and I do much more statewide politics. So certainly we're seeing a lot of abortion bans being passed as a result of a President Trump and a more conservative Supreme Court. And
Right.
a lot of Trump appointees being appointed in the lower district courts. So the anti-choice opposition is taking advantage of decades of work and passing a lot of anti-abortion bills.
It's very impressive how they've pulled this off, and it seems to be, to us, I mean to me anyway, in the last 3 weeks, suddenly we've gone
Right.
from not even thinking about abortion.
Right, like was it the last 3 weeks or is it just on our radar? Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's
It's really only happened in the last 3 days.
Yeah, God.
Has it really? It really is true.
No, for real.
No, seriously. They've been at this for, a couple decades. In fact, I would say that the pro-choice movement has been a bit asleep since the passage of Roe v. Wade. We thought that our constitutional rights were guaranteed, and
Right.
we didn't have much more to discuss.
Well,
But
do we? Is it guaranteed? I mean, is it constitutionally guaranteed, or was it just passed by the Supreme Court, which makes it some sort of precedent, but it's not written into the Constitution?
Well, Roe passed in 1973. However, there have been other cases since that have actually allowed states to have some input on accessibility to abortion, and that's why we see so many anti-choice bills being passed at the state level. And each state has a choice in how they want to regulate abortion care. So that's why you see a lot of conservative states passing anti-choice bills, but on the other hand, California, Nevada, Vermont are actually expanding rights to abortion. So it's kind of a mishmash, but certainly the trend is more conservative, and especially across the South, where these 6-week bans have passed overwhelmingly in the last few months. And Louisiana is facing its own 6-week ban, which is why we were downtown protesting
Right.
earlier today.
Well, do you know something about the law now, having done this for the last X number of years?
I know nothing about the law.
If the federal government passes a law, can the state pass a law that just completely overturns that? So the federal law says you have a right to an abortion. And can the state of Louisiana just say, oh, no, you don't? Or the state of Alabama just say, no, you don't, actually?
Well, yes, they can pass laws, and that's the argument we've been making for several years, that some of these bills that have been passing are blatantly unconstitutional, and as soon as they're signed into law, they're litigated.
Right.
Here in Louisiana, there's a slew of bills like that, most recently the 15-week abortion ban from last year.
What does that mean? You can't have an abortion for 15 weeks after your birthday or something? 15 weeks.
After the gestational age of 15 weeks. So,
After you've been pregnant for 15 weeks. You
Yes.
from the day of conception?
yes.
How do you figure that out?
Well, it was not
figures that
from conception.
From what?
You're asking me tough questions, especially after I've had a few drinks.
Okay.
But
Allison's a genius. You might know.
but
15 weeks. You
but-
have to know the answer to this one.
But essentially, I've lost my train of thought.
What is the 15-week abortion ban was my question. Is it 50? You're not allowed to have an abortion after the 15th week of pregnancy. Is that
15
what it
weeks
is?
by ultrasound.
By ultrasound.
Yeah, so there's
So
a
there's a
mandatory
scientific-
ultrasound required of anyone seeking an abortion here. And
Okay. So if you're pregnant, I can do, well, I can't do an ultrasound. Somebody can do an ultrasound on you
you can
and
do
tell
an ultrasound in the
how
clinic.
pregnant you are.
Yes.
And is that scientifically accurate?
Yes. Yes. In fact,
Down to the week?
The ultrasounds are accurate, and those
Down to the
technicians
week?
are trained.
So they can tell you how long you've been pregnant down to the week. It's kind of like counting the rings on a tree or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. I
All
love
right.
that analogy.
So it's illegal to have an abortion.
Well, so that bill
Fif-
is signed into law, but it's being litigated, so it's not enforceable.
Okay.
But it is one of many that are sort of in the pipeline to be heard in these district courts with the ultimate intention of going to the Supreme Court.
And what were you thinking when you came up with this idea of having fake blood on your T-shirt? What is the deal with that? That looks like you've had an abortion and it's like gone wrong or something. Is that the
Well,
idea?
that's exactly the point.
Right.
That, you know, as these abortion bans are passed, that they will cause a lot of harm to women, including women who might have a wanted pregnancy, but are, for various reasons, mostly a fetal anomaly, have to terminate those pregnancies. That would be outlawed, essentially. But also women that might be seeking self-managed abortion care. So people might remember, you know, prior to Roe v. Wade, many women were, you know, what we often talk about, like, you know, seeking out back alley abortions from non-trained physicians or using all sorts of methods of trying to abort pregnancies. Abortion has been around for millennia. It's
Right.
not going away. Women want control of their bodies and control of their reproductive health care. And unfortunately, legislators don't seem to know much about pregnancies or menstruation or anything else about women's bodies.
It's interesting that there's all these guys who are making all these rules. Imagine, I was thinking,
Overwhelmingly so.
imagine if history had gone another way and the government was run by women and they were all sitting around deciding what point guys should have a vasectomy. And it was going to be mandatory. I mean, it's laughable.
I've done that. It's not that bad, and I would not mind.
You wouldn't mind?
No.
It was pretty painless?
It was great. They gave me a Valium, and I ate that, and then I took another half of one that I had, and it was whatever.
What made you do that? You had too many kids already?
I had 2 kids,
it's
and
enough.
with as split as I am between playing music and tattooing and drawing and everything, I didn't feel like I could be a responsible or attentive parent to split myself more than 3 times, you know, with my wife and my kids, and it seemed right, and I was
You wrote
fortunate.
an awesome song about your wife.
I did.
Was that song written about your wife? It's called Bitch, I Wrote This Song For You.
It was. And
You
just
guys have to hear
me
this
out
song.
first. But before, you know, like at first it's a bit abrasive. It sounds that way, but it's a very personal song because my wife and I have been together for a long time, and we have that type of relationship where we can say really, like, we both have the same dark sense of humor where we can say those things to one another.
It's got some great lyrics in it, the song.
Well, thank you.
Wait,
Are you
before we
gonna-
go on to the song, I want to ask, so was your wife supportive of a vasectomy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
She
a
was
decision
great.
you made together?
Yes. Yeah. We
I bet it was
we
her
didn't-
idea.
No, we didn't rush into it. No, actually, I grew up wanting 3 kids. I was an only child, and I, for whatever reason, I thought 3 kids was what I wanted. But once I had 2,
One of
I was
each.
pretty young, you know. Well, we have 2 boys. And I was pretty young, and I felt like, well, this is great. I honestly felt like every time you have a child, you're rolling the dice. And that, it may be a morbid way to think, but I felt like, wow, I have 2 healthy, beautiful young boys. This is more than anyone deserves anyway. So let me just kind of count, like, there it is. That's all I need.
Put your cards down before you
Yeah,
lose.
you know, I don't know. Like, that's just kind of how I thought about it, and just being realistic about it and what we might afford to have to give them a good life. But back to the point that you're saying, I find it funny that people pretend to care about people while they're in a woman, and it's all bullshit. You know, no one cares. Everyone's selfish, and it's just like,
You mean the reason that they're passing these anti-abortion?
well, everyone likes to kind of wave the flag of worrying about life until, like, you won't even give change to a person on the side of the road. You know, like, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
It's
Thank
fake.
you for that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Well, the thing
I appreciate y'all for making life, you know, and I think you should be able to choose when it's the time.
Absolutely.
Then I think it's asinine, but I mean, we can go down a list of asinine policies.
There's a lot of
and,
asinine
you know, it's
stuff.
true.
So, what song are you going to play for us today? Are you going to play the song "Bitch, I Wrote the Song
I
For You"?
can play that song.
Do you
for
want
you.
to?
Sure.
I think you guys will like the song.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, okay.
Honestly, I wasn't going to play that song.
Well,
but
I won't
thank
talk you into it if you don't.
No. Well,
Okay.
now that I know there's no FCC and we can curse, it's
Okay.
all good.
I think it's got
do
some.
I take these off? I don't know if I can play.
You can keep those on. You can take them off.
I'll
Whatever you
just
like.
play it.
Okay.
Play it for y'all. You guys hear that?
Okay.
Yeah, you know it's
We'll get
a.
this mic lined up over here for you.
I got it.
Here,
Should we put? Oh, okay.
let me put it on the other side.
Oh, you're not on there. How's that sound to y'all?
Okay.
I may not be the knight in shining armor that your daddy hoped for, but brother, ain't nobody gonna love her like I do. I know you're worried I'm a narcissistic, inconsiderate asshole, but don't you worry, baby, 'cause this all belongs to you. But I don't mind pouring you a bell till all the hot water's gone. Just wanna rub your feet, babe, and sing your favorite songs. I love to make you laugh till you peed in pants, 'cause all I wanna do, babe, is just to be your man. I know I'm dancing too close, but I ain't feeling these hoes. They don't radiate like you, but you're gonna hate me by the end of tonight. But don't write me off so soon. Bitch, I wrote this song for you. And what your daddy doesn't know is that I hold all them doors, and I'm holding on to you. And girl, he raised you up so well that in my eyes you could do anything. At 1 o'clock I'll be over it by 2, but you're gonna hate me by the end of tonight. But don't write me off so soon. Bitch, I wrote this song for you. Nobody quite like you. They don't even come close. And all the fucked up things you do, got me running them roads. And girl, you're crazy like your daddy, and you're fine like your mama. Babe, I'm growing tired from running after you. And girl, you made me look so bad. Now in my eyes I've done nothing wrong but spend my life calling out your name. But
But you're gonna hate me by the end of tonight. When we get drunk and fight, I don't mean to say them hurtful things to you. All alone, extending out your hand for another man to come and dance with you. You best get ready, baby, 'cause I'm coming. Ooh. And don't you write me off so soon. And baby, ooh. And bitch, I'll turn them black and blue.
Yay!
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I didn't know if that was
Beautiful.
good for this.
That was great. Isn't
Perfect.
that?
It's a love song.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
it's a real
That
love
is
song
the awesome
with
Théophile Bourgeois the Fourth. Off. What is the name of that album? That was called
That
Renegade.
album's called Renegade, which I brought a copy
Right.
for each of you
That's
guys.
from Off Renegade.
Thank you.
This was recorded. The picture there, that's a family cabin in Monticello, Mississippi. That
And the
the
name?
band and I and an engineer, we turned into a recording studio for a weekend. And
If you're looking for this, the name of the band is Them Old Ghosts. And the new album is going to be called
Hounds.
How?
It's yeah, we're actually celebrating the release of that. It's coming out Friday, and we have a show at the Parish Room at House of Blues this Friday night.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, just get this straight here. The Friday night is the what?
The
date?
24th, Friday,
Of
May
May
24th,
2019. If you're listening.
2019. Doors
Okay.
at 8 p.m. Show starts at 9 p.m. And we are so excited. for
Totally
this show.
worth going out to hear that this
Thank you.
Friday night. What a beautiful voice you've got, doesn't
Thanks
it?
so
Allison?
much, man.
That was
Yeah.
nice.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
And I like the lyrics, especially about rubbing your feet.
Do you like
Yeah.
that? But I see you nodded during
Well, I
that.
do. You know,
Do you-
I have a wonderful lady, and you know we fight. It's real. You know, like everyone fights. There's zero chance of that
I
never
hate
happening.
fighting. Do you like to fight, Amy?
No,
She likes to fight.
Well, sometimes, hey man, sometimes I want to make crushed ice at 3 in the morning, and my wife wakes up at 5, and she doesn't like that. So
Right.
we might fight about that.
Well,
But
that's
you know,
inconsiderate on your part. Why would you do that?
I'm saying I want to do it. I don't do it.
Well,
You
that's-
haven't met my wife. She's scary.
Yeah.
No, she's
She's
very
not.
deceptive. She's very sweet, but she's got a side. She's a little pepper. She's a hot pepper. But she's got to deal with me, man. I love her. She's awesome.
You seem
So
like
she's
a
spicy.
pussycat, doesn't he? Don't you seem sweet? Doesn't he seem sweet?
I spent 32 years crafting that.
Yeah,
man,
well, you're
you know?
fooling me completely. Jonathan, you interview people constantly. You're the host
Absolutely.
of this podcast. So what do you make of Théophile?
Man, he's a very interesting guy. And when I was listening to that song, I felt like I was in that relationship at that time.
Which
It's like-
which one of them did you feel like you were him or her?
I was him, of course.
I'll rub your feet, bro.
All right. No, I'm good with that. I do like my feet rubbed, but not, by my
Hey,
woman.
Listen, we're going to come back and we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and talk about your podcast, the Truth Hurts podcast.
Absolutely.
Right after
Let's
this.
do it.
And we're back here on Happy Hour with Amy Irvin, the executive
That was
director
fast.
of the New Orleans Abortion Fund, Théophile Bourgeois IV, who's a tattoo artist whose store is the Oak Street Tattoo
Oak Street Tattoo.
on Oak Street in
Yes, sir.
Uptown
Keep
New
it
Orleans.
simple. Easy to
Alison
find.
Moon, who's back visiting us from Oxford University, who used to be our photographer back here on Happy Hour, and Jonathan Blake Vasquez, who's the host of the Truth Hurts podcast.
True Hearts podcast.
So tell us about the Truth Hurts podcast. What is the concept behind it? It seems to be
Well, the whole
Yeah.
it's about the truth. Honestly, it's pretty
about-
simple. It's like
everybody thinks they're telling the truth all the time.
Right.
Even when they're lying, they'll tell you they're telling the truth.
Absolutely, it's about exposing the truth at the end of the day. But the main things that we do talk about on the show, entrepreneurship, health. Because me and the host, we are vegans. Me and the co-host.
Okay.
We're both vegans, and so we're real big on health. We're not just business partners. We're best friends. We started becoming vegan together, and then it just grew into.
Why did you decide to become vegan at all?
Well, it just a lot of research that we done together.
What did you find out?
We found out that dairy and meat is not bad for you. It's bad for you.
It is not bad for you. It is bad for you.
It is bad for you. Yes,
The
I'm
truth
sorry.
is.
The truth.
The truth is.
The
It
truth
is
is
bad,
bad
for
for
you. Meat is bad for
But
you.
we're
and
grown
dairy.
to, we're grown to, advertisement to eat meat and to eat 3 times a day and to, to go to McDonald's and, whatnot,
Right.
to eat fast food. But, trying to get out of that program mind that you're in, that, that years of marketing have done to you, it's something that it's kind of we need to start doing, because it's causing deaths around the world, or especially in the United States. It's causing obesity at early age. Like
So
all
are
these
you
kids
interested
are.
in spreading the word of veganism to talk other people into becoming vegan as well?
Well, I want to spread the word of conscious eating. Being
Okay.
conscious of your eating habits. I don't want to push veganism on people. I never want to do that, because it's not. People will get turned off if you push something on them.
It must be hard to be a vegan in New Orleans.
Absolutely. I actually just moved to New Orleans the beginning of January, beginning of 2019 in
Where did
January.
you move from?
Dallas, Texas.
See, I've listened to this podcast of yours, and I thought you were a black guy.
Really?
Yes. Did
Well-
you guys think that? Or close your eyes and listen to him. You sound totally black. I just thought you. I totally thought you were like a black guy from New Orleans.
I got in
No,
that
you're
before.
not.
I got in a black guy before, but
Don't you think he sounds like that? Seriously.
It's his
I
inner
think
black
he's
guy.
got like a little flair of spice in there, though. That's
You hear something?
you're Mexican American. Yeah, I hear. I've been to Mexico too, so I hear there's a slight accent in there.
I spend a lot of time in Texas, and I got a lot of buddies. So I would say the same.
What would you say? Really? Okay.
Yeah, I tattoo out in Texas a bit. And,
Do you?
Yeah.
Why?
Conventions and just traveling, just kind of getting a little bit out there.
All right.
Yeah.
well, yeah.
What
I
made
did-
you move here from Dallas?
Well, my co-host, man, me and him to have businesses together. So it would,
Okay.
I just want to get closer
I
to.
thouwe you were a photographer.
I'm a photographer too, so
So
he
what's
helps me
your
with my
bus-
photography
Okay.
as well.
Who's your co-host?
Co-host, his name is Harold. His name is we call him HCAP, but his name is Harold. He has a moving business, and I help him with the moving business.
Okay.
He helps me with my photography business. He does a lot of creative directing and things like that. So we help each other out.
I was interested and looked at your photography website, which has got some great photos on it.
Appreciate it.
There's all these different genres of photos, like portraits and
Right.
automotive and blah, blah, blah. And
Right.
one of them is gender reveal. Is that like a
Gender
whole...
reveal.
Wild?
Is that like a whole thing?
That's
Growing
a
up.
thing. That's
Dude,
a thing.
the amount of parties when someone is having a kid is absurd. That's
Really?
It's nuts. We had a kid who was just like, here's a kid. Here's a baby. It's great. We had a little shower, and it's like, now it's like you got a gender reveal.
So
And it's
how
like
many of these
haircut
gender
reveal on
reveal
his
parties
baby.
have you been to then, Teofil? A bunch
I
of them?
have been to 0, and I'm very proud of that.
Me personally, I would want to wait to find out. The
I
gender,
did that. I
you know?
agree, man.
Yeah.
It was the best. It was the best thing.
Very
I-
exciting.
I don't know
It's
how
a
to say
surprise.
this,
It's
but
fun
I
to-
was never been more happy to see a set of testicles in my life. Then when I was like, oh, it's a boy. It was great. The surprise of
Your
it. And I
baby's
would've
not
been-
born with testicles, is it? I thought you had to wait till those descend.
No, they were there, man.
They were there.
Does anyone know anything about anatomy here? At the
Well,
show?
it
This is
definitely wasn't a
bad crowd.
vagina.
You've got... So
You're wrong.
Now I'll say this by saying I would have been
Thomas
like,
has a little
stoked if
boy.
it was a lady too. But it was just like just finding out, like you said, waiting was awesome because there's, I don't know, like the 4D ultrasound was like let's like get a portrait of that little squished face in the womb. Like I don't need all that. That's too much money, man. Let's just find out when it comes out. It's great.
I think it's just another excuse to party.
Yeah.
A gender
True.
reveal party. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Absolutely.
Yet another reason to
Absolutely.
get together.
Yes.
Is there
This
a lot
is-
of drinking
New
at
Orleans,
these gender
Yes,
reveal
there
parties?
is.
Yeah.
Besides for the mom.
Yes, besides for the mom.
Ain't that some shit?
So
Did
for
she
those...
at least get like most of the cake or something?
Everybody was getting, having fun, getting drunk, and it was just
So
except for
how
besides
does,
the mom.
how does it work? So somebody knows the gender of the baby, but not the parents of the baby.
Correct. It's only one other person that knows the actual gender of the baby.
Okay.
And so it just depends on what you do. How you're gonna reveal it. In this case, the guy, he plays baseball, and so they did it with the baseball that you bust open, and you hit, and then
like a
blue
sort
or
of
gr-
piñata.
or pink. Yeah, it's like a piñata.
It's the last party before you become a parent.
Right.
Okay. So it's later in the pregnancy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not too sure. When,
you foresee
just there to
many
show up.
late nights,
Right.
changing diapers.
So this is the last sort of big party
The
that you
last
can
hurrah before
Okay.
becoming a parent and
All right.
raising children.
Well, I
and-
don't miss diapers one
So
day.
how old are you, Topher, how old are your kids?
My boys are 9 and 6.
All right.
And,
Oh,
and
nice.
people ask me, like, don't you want to have another one? Try for a girl, which is also like, what guarantees that? But my thing is, the other morning, my son, my 9-year-old, came into my bedroom with a tray with toast, with orange juice, and iced coffee. Now, why would I want to go back to wiping an ass?
Yeah, really.
Come on,
What
man.
did he want? Why was he buttering you up?
He's a sweet little dude.
Just a nice kid.
That's all. He's a good kid,
Wow.
man. He's just a sweetheart.
That's awesome.
Sounds like a fine gentleman.
Yeah.
He really is.
So how's the part of the podcast going, Jonathan? What made you start that?
It's going well.
You two guys in different places. You do it on the phone or something?
Well,
originally?
no, we actually started. I started by myself originally. It was just me trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and I didn't know, like, but it's before I picked up photography. So I was like, man, I got to do something, because everybody else around me was like, picking up some type of hobby or something like that. And I was just like, what can I do? And I was listening to a podcast at the time when I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, this sounds like I could do this.
pretty easy. Anybody
yeah,
can do it.
I could
Yeah.
I could talk to people. I like talking to people. So, and just like how we're doing, let's do it. And so I did that same night. I did so much research, and I was like, okay, let me go invest into this equipment and everything like that. So it's been a fun ride. It's been about 3 years since I started.
Yeah, it's really good. I like it. It's a very real.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of I don't know what the word for it is. It's unpretentious. Might be a
Right.
good word for it.
Right.
It's pretty interesting who you get on there. All kinds of interesting.
Yeah, we just added video not too long ago, so we're on YouTube now.
Okay.
And right now we're on our 3rd season, and we're in New Orleans. This is because I started in Dallas, and now we're in New Orleans. And so hopefully, our plan is to travel with it and go to another country maybe and things like
Go
that.
with Allison. Allison, when are
Yes.
you leaving?
I leave on Tuesday.
On Tuesday. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Well, I gotta get my
So you
plane
could
ticket.
Get it together. Yeah. Are you single?
Yes, I am single.
Okay, good news because Allison's single. Are you still single, Allison?
It's complicated.
Is it really? Where is this person?
He's in Lafayette.
In Lafayette, Louisiana. That
So
is
no Tinder
very
dating across the seas.
That is far from us.
Yes.
He won't know anything if you and Jonathan are in Oxford together.
Right.
He's not going to
That's
find out unless you put it on Facebook. That's a big mistake,
Unless
putting
you-
shit on Facebook.
I'm a little bit too honest of a person to hide something like
Well, you
that.
could tell the truth then.
You could
hurts.
be you could be on his
Truth hurts
podcast.
podcast.
Set that up.
Walk right into that. It's perfect.
Right. Right. Ladies and
So
gentlemen,
what
boys
do
and
we
girls.
do on this podcast when our drink runs out?
Oh, you get another one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who do we
Who do
summon?
we talk to? We talk to Graham, our producer over here. She can get you a drink.
Please.
Or see, all these people are just talking to each other, though, not paying attention
Man,
to us
I
at all.
don't care.
Hey, Graham. Look, she's not even looking at us.
It's okay.
She's done her job.
Syrup, Graham, or syrup. Can we get Turfield another drink? Yes, see, we're on it.
Aperol
Yeah.
Spritz. I'm talking in the mic like he's hearing me. Please, it was hello. I'm Topher.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Time for a drink. Are you having another one?
I'll take another
Another one
drink.
of these
take
puddle.
I'll
You
take
don't know what
another
these puddle water stuff is, though.
I'll take
Monte
another one.
Fresco. Monte Fresco.
Everybody wants another whole round, apparently. You want anything? You're good to go.
What were you drinking? That
What
was?
was
It's like
that?
the hurricane something.
Hurricane Orito or something.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Hurricane.
We don't know what this is. Elson doesn't
Something
know.
hurricane.
Actually, what were you drinking?
This was some sort of muddled strawberry with vodka and tonic.
Okay. Oh, we got it? Sherry's got it under control.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll take whatever. Actually.
Yeah,
It's
hurricane.
fine.
She knows it.
The hurricane. I'll do the hurricane thing.
It was pretty good.
Yep.
Okay. So we've got a couple
Allison's
of things.
thirsty because as we've already heard, they don't party until 9 o'clock.
They don't, she's not used to it. She's like making up for lost time.
I miss happy hour.
It's pretty tough, sort of
Yeah.
cultural. I guess that's a cultural
That's
difference.
not a thing there.
No,
I'll
it's
never
not
go
a
to
thing.
Europe. I don't care
They
how
don't
beautiful
have
it is.
brunch.
What?
You have to go to London to get like a brunch. I found like one place in London that does brunch,
Wow.
but they do not do it in Oxford, and I miss so many things.
Do they have 3-for-1 nights?
No, they don't have like any
What
type
kind
of
of a
drink
culture do
deals.
they have over there?
Burlesque.
No, well they do in London, but definitely not Oxford.
So what would you do on a night out? Just go drinking at a pub?
Well, the pub, okay, that's the other thing. Pubs close at 11 o'clock or midnight, so all you're really left with is like the clubs, and it's full of 18-year-olds. Nobody wants to do that.
So people meet you at 9 o'clock at a pub, and then they're
But we don't
gone
even,
by
no,
11.
no. They're not a big fan of the pubs. I'm a whole pub girl because at New Orleans we have our dive bars. I'm all about the dive bars and talking. But apparently when they go out, they don't want to talk to each other. They just want to get smashed and dance all night.
Wow.
And that's the going out culture in Oxford, and it's slightly depressing.
Yeah, that is depressing.
No wonder you have a boyfriend in Lafayette.
That's a pretty weird way of. So there's no communication. How do you make friends exactly?
Well, you make friends with people that you're going to uni with, like people in your class and everything, and what's in your programs. But after that, you're just, all they want to do is get drunk and dance, and that's about it. You don't really want to talk to people.
They just want to get drunk and dance for real, not fuck or anything.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know what goes on when they leave the bar.
What do you mean you don't know
This
what
is
goes
so
on?
different than I expected. I was like, dude, don't curse. I'm going to ruin this whole thing.
No, you
I'm
can say.
happy to know there's no censorship.
No, you can say whatever you like.
Oh,
Great.
there you go.
People aren't having sex after drinking at
Oh, I mean,
bar.
I'm
They just-
assuming they are, but
No
I
one's
never.
hit on you?
I never stick around that late. They all
What?
stay out till like 4 o'clock, and I've been drinking since 5. I'm ready to go to bed.
Not one guy's hit on you the whole
Oh yeah,
time. Okay,
but it's
so
a
thank
little.
goodness.
Is it different?
It's very different. Like they're not very smooth about it. They're very like upfront. And they're like, all right, this is what my goal is, and you're just like, take it or leave it. And I'm like, all right.
That's
There's
honest.
something,
There's no,
there's
like,
something good about
it's
that. At least, like,
honest,
he's
but
not
it's
like,
like-
hey, I'm just your friend.
But there's
But I got
nothing
none of these.
charming or suave about
True.
it. It's mostly half the time because they're trying to be upfront and honest, but they just come out awkward
I like
most
the
of
way
the time.
you look. My
Yeah.
room?
Yeah, something
weird,
like that.
right?
It's very weird.
Okay.
Like it's not like, oh,
Okay, I
okay,
get
that's
that. Awkward. Like no trickery, but no charm. Like he's kind of like
Yeah.
the worst of both worlds.
you miss. I'm used to the Southern gentleman that's like, you know what they're after, but at least they're being charming, and you're like, I'm
There's
gonna
some
enjoy
work
the
involved, yeah,
attention
some
a
tact.
little bit, and yeah.
But what part of the evening does this transactional approach start? Early on or
No, this
later?
is the minor talking that does happen on the dance floor where they're just like get in your face all of a sudden and they're like, "Hey, you're pretty. What are you doing later tonight?" And then it's like, "Okay, I'm just dancing."
That's about the most rudimentary
Man,
pickup
that's-
line ever.
Yeah, does that work at all on
I have a
anybody?
toaster oven back at my place.
Not even the toaster
Do you
oven.
like Pop Tarts? Are Pop Tarts a thing in Europe?
No.
Oh God, I'm never,
that I know of.
ever going.
There's okay, so you know how you get cinnamon rolls in the tins here? It doesn't happen there. They don't have that. They don't understand what that is. They're very shocked by that. I'm trying to think of what else that they were shocked by that I've been trying to explain to them. Oh, they don't know how to fry chicken. I've fried chicken for them so many times and they're like amazed. All they have is KFC.
We could make some money over there.
Oh yeah.
They don't have Popeyes?
No Popeyes.
We do have good fried chicken here.
Yeah.
We do. Well, KFC is fried chicken, though.
Yeah, but
Hey, listen,
it's
we're running out of time. We've only got 10 minutes left before they kick us out of here.
Oh, no.
So what do we have to do? We need another. Do you have another short song?
Of course.
Let's try a
You
short
tell me
song.
when to-
Okay, like a verse and chorus or something off the new EP, which is called Hounds. I must say, I'm surprised at what a beautiful voice you've got. It sounds much nicer like live than it does on these records.
What's that?
Your voice sounds better live than it does on the records, I think.
I hope so.
It's very sweet. Your voice is very sweet. On the records,
well,
it's
thank
more of a
you.
rock.
Do you mind if I
sort of
play
thing.
an older song? I think the
No,
the
we
new
don't.
record is very dependent on the rest of my band.
Okay. Do you have any vegan music?
This is an actual vegan song.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, this song's called Losing My Cool. I'll just give you a little taste of it.
All right.
Well, I'm riding from home. Do you enjoy all of that you're doing? And I've heard all the news. I heard you misplaced your love again. Thank you so much. And I've heard all your fables. I love to see you wear that crown again. And I'm right outside a window that I love for you to come to. Well, ooh, you think you're so fair. Well, ooh, yeah, you think you're so fair. Well, I'm right where you left me, healing my wounds again. And I'm stuck here alone, it's so hot out in New Orleans. I've been losing my cool, and this heart's made of stone. Baby, I've been missing you. You best believe, darling, now I'm coming home. I got nowhere to go with this heart made of stone. Baby, I've been missing you. You best believe I'm coming home. I'll leave you with that. Thank you.
I would totally marry you. Wouldn't you, Amy?
Yes, please. If you ever
Just-
get divorced, just look me up.
Just based on that voice alone.
Yes.
Thank you so
There's
much.
something just, don't you, is it just me, Alison, do you agree with me?
Yeah,
There's
it's
something
very, it's like
beguiling
it
about
comes from the soul.
The beautiful
It's just
singing.
the diaphragm. It's diaphragmatic breathing. I'm going to give a shout out to my boy Guy Tim, Voice Studios. My wife got me that for Christmas. Some vocal coaching.
Shout out
Well,
to
it's
that.
But no,
paid
for real,
off.
thank you. It means a lot. You know, it does.
You
I
really
enjoy
have a
what I
beautiful
do.
voice,
I
for real.
appreciate
It's
it.
gorgeous.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so the new EP is called
Hounds.
and it's going to be out on Spotify and all the other
Friday,
places.
it'll
so
be
we can
everywhere you
steal
can
everything.
stream your music. It'll be out
Okay.
Friday. And
Okay,
we'll
so
be
listen,
celebrating that show.
I want to ask you this. We had a couple of points I want to get to before, because we have to get out of here in a minute. I want to get to you in a minute and then ask you about some stuff too. But so when someone comes in for a tattoo, that's what I've always been interested in, and they say, I want something on my arm or on my leg or whatever it is.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you feel nervous about that? Because this is going to be permanently on their body forever.
No, but I mean, the first time you're thrown in a real situation like that, the first tattoo you do, yeah, it's terrifying. But, you know, I'm 14 years in now, and it's the thing I'm most confident about. I think,
okay.
You know, so I can control it. I know how to not mess up, and I know what to avoid in order to guarantee that it's going to look good.
Because there's no room for error
No.
ever.
Well, the difference between a good tattooer and a bad tattooer is a good tattooer can hide his mistakes, right? So
Is that true?
it is true.
You can actually
And
make
honestly, the common misconception with tattoos, it's funny that when people come into the shop and they're like, oh, it's just a small tattoo, it's nothing, blah, blah, blah. Well, when there's one line, all the attention is on that one line. If it's a back piece, you'll never notice the subtle inconsistencies. But I pride myself on attention to detail. So, you know, but I'm not perfect. No one is. So it's at the end of the day, it's a human implanting pigment
Right.
into another person's skin. It's pretty magical that we can make it look as good as we do. You know,
It is.
it's great, man. I love it.
And one of the things that you mention on your website about tattooing is that you're talking about the effect of aging and time.
Uh-huh.
So you're tattooing people knowing that it's going to change over time.
Yes, and you have to account for that, especially in South Louisiana where we get a lot of sun, and it's unforgiving. So there are things that you can't do. You don't have free reign like if I drew on this paper right here, you know, it's going to stay like that. But sometimes, you know, people want 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag, and that's not always doable.
What
you know?
exactly does that mean?
It means too much and too little. You know, so, well, you know, like you want a whole scripture, like the actual scripture of a Bible verse inside of a clock on the watch face, but I want some of the gears showing inside of that clock. And it's like, hey, man, I don't have an engineering degree. I'm just fucking drawing on you right now. Okay. So, but it's cool, man. It's the best job in the world.
How many drunk people do you get compared to
Not
sober?
many, because I keep banking hours. I go in at like 9 a.m. and start tattooing.
You're not there all night on Oak Street. Waiting for the bars to close.
Luckily, I've served my time in the trenches. I started in a shop I worked the night shift. I was next to a strip joint called Cherry Bombs. It was incredible. It was fun, and that's when I had a lot of drunk clientele. But like now,
He's a family man now, Graham.
Family
He's
man.
got 2 children to raise.
I thought if you
and
did
a wife
tattoos,
to rub her
his
feet.
feet.
I
but I
got
thought when
rubbing
you
feet.
did tattoos that you had to be there at night because that's when all the drunks get in.
Well, I know what I'm doing for like the next month.
So people, you have real serious clients who are
Clientele.
like getting a whole back done,
Yeah.
and they have some done on a Tuesday
Yes.
at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes, I believe you treat people right and you do your best,
Right.
and it pays off. It's good.
Okay. So listen, Amy, I wanted to ask you because I know there's people listening to
I
this.
don't have any tattoos, Graham.
I don't have any either.
No.
Do you have any, Alison?
I do.
Yes, Alison
I have
does.
2.
I don't have any.
You have a tree on your leg. I remember
I
that.
have a mulberry tree on my leg and a tiny
Oh, I
little
like
moon on my
mulberries.
wrist.
Do you? I don't remember ever seeing that.
It's
Where
very,
is it? I
it's
can't
very
even see
faded.
it.
It's
Oh,
in a
here.
bad spot. My watch has almost rubbed it off.
Oh wow, that was orange.
There's a tattoo there.
Where is it at?
Yeah.
You can barely
It
see
looks like everybody asked me if I got bit by something.
Hey, you
a
want to
little
get it?
crescent moon?
Do you want to get it touched up? Teofil can touch
I
it
need
up.
to get it touched up. I don't
Holla
know
at
if he
your
can
boy.
squeeze me in before Tuesday.
Look, here, take
though.
one of
I
these
always
cuts.
got time.
We'll
Maybe not. I don't
squeeze
know.
you in.
Wait, no, this is my last day working. I tattooed all day.
What?
Now I got
You're off.
I got my kindergarten graduation tomorrow. We're partying all day.
It's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Is
Yep.
it
It is.
this weekend? Is Monday Memorial
I
Day?
forgot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. Well, happy
That none of
Memorial
us
Day,
know
everybody.
that tells how
Hey,
hard
listen,
we've
Amy,
been
we have to
working.
get out of here, but this is what I was going to say. I know that there's at least 2 people listening to the show. Maybe not because Andrew Duhon's mom might not be listening to this. There might only be 1 person. But suppose that 1 person was listening and they sympathized with the whole plight of women in America and this ridiculous, crazy anti-abortion and anti-choice movement. What would somebody who wanted to do something for that or for you actually do?
Well, they could go to our website and make a donation, but honestly, a lot of people have been coming out. Bartenders who've been giving up their tips for the night as donations to the New Orleans Abortion Fund.
So-
We have another supporter who has a burlesque show on Thursday night at Sydney's. All the proceeds from her
So this is all just
event
give money.
is
as
going
you're
to be
saying.
giving money.
Just give money is the only thing you can do.
Or you become a clinic escort. We have over 300 community members here trained as escorts. They
Oh,
provide...
like protect lady?
Yeah,
Wow.
so
Oh.
there's oftentimes protesters in front of the clinic, and we have a group of fantastic volunteers who provide a friendly face there at the clinic and help people get into the clinic safely without harassment. So that's another way in which people can help too.
Okay.
You can find it all on our website, NewOrleansAbortionFund.com.
No, it's not. It's .org.
Oh, right.
That's New Orleans Abortion.
Blame it on
You
the
should-
I got confused
you
a
could
lot.
buy
I have a
.com
lot on
as
my
well.
A lot on my mind.
I bet you do. What is going on?
That sun is rough out there. You know.
You've been doing a lot lately. Well, it's very stressful. Plus, you have to. What do you do with the T-shirts now that they have all this? And your nice white pants have got all this fake blood. Do they wash out or what?
Oh, no, a friend of mine, Amanda, is going to be doing an art installation with them. There
Okay.
are several of us that wore these at the Capitol last week.
I
And then
saw
today,
that. I saw that on TV. I mean,
today
actually on
the
Facebook.
rally,
They
yeah, so
almost
we're gonna
pulled
do-
your pants off. Actually, the cops.
well,
I know
that's
you're.
a long story.
They did.
No, I bought these pants at the thrift store, and they don't quite fit me, right? So
Well, they look good on, but I honestly, that video was on Facebook, and there's a bunch of women, you included, lying on the
You're such a
floor
flirt, Graham.
of the Capitol, and that.
You look good in
And-
that bloody outfit.
And
man.
everyone got dragged off except you, and you stood your ground, and they tried to get you. You really
I'm a
fought
warrior.
back. You fought back.
I did.
And they just about got your clothes off you.
Really?
For real. Have a look at the footage.
I'm gonna have
Yes.
to-
Yeah, we're gonna check that out.
it's true. They were a little rough. I have to say, my wrist had some bruised wrist, and my arm felt like it was coming out of my shoulder. But
Oh my God. Wow.
all for a good cause.
Yeah.
It's beautiful that you stand up for what you believe in.
Thank you so much.
I admire
I definitely believe in women's autonomy and self-determination, and I want to ensure that for everyone in our community.
Well, thanks on
absolutely.
behalf of everybody who you're doing a good job for.
Thank you.
Okay. Amy Irvin from the New Orleans Abortion Fund.org has been here. Teofil, we're going to call you from now on. Teofil Bourgeois the Fourth.
Thank you so
From
much.
Oak Street Tattoo, and also from the band Them Old Ghosts, who you can find. We have a link to it on our website on itsneworleans.com. But if you're looking on Facebook or on
Instagram, all of it, everything.
or anywhere we can steal music from,
Oh, yeah.
Spotify and so
Steal
on.
it, steal it.
It's
Tell your
on.
friends, burn disc. I don't care.
All right,
Thank you so
Them
much for
Old
having me.
Ghosts. You're welcome. It's been
Appreciate
great
it.
to meet you. and the host of the Truth Hurts podcast.
Truth Hurts podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and everything.
Jonathan Blake Vasquez. Where does the
Yes,
Blake
sir.
bit come from?
Blake, I don't know. My mom. Ask her.
Your mom's name was Blake. Was it your middle name?
I don't know where she got that name from, honestly. That's my middle name, though. Yeah.
That's your middle name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jonathan Blake. That's my
That's
my
your
actual
full
name.
government name.
Correct.
Do you have like a nickname?
I actually do. It's Taco.
Taco.
Yeah.
Okay. I see you wrote it on the tablecloth there. I didn't even
Yeah,
see that.
Taco.
Okay.
With that fancy pen.
With a pen from
That is a
NolaPens.com, the
beautiful pen.
only pens made from a fallen Audubon Park live oak tree. They're one-of-a-kind, expertly crafted, limited edition writing instruments, and you can get one for yourself at NolaPens.com. Alison Moon, thank you so much, too, for coming back here
Yeah, it's so
and
glad
joining
to
us. It's
be
been
back
great
here
to
and
see
see
you.
everybody.
Yeah.
Fried chicken and happy hour.
Oh,
while you
I've
can.
been eating all of the foods, all of the foods.
And thank you too to Basics on Magazine Street, where you can get lingerie and swimsuits, and the Positive Vibrations Foundation, who create and encourage community through the development and preservation of the arts, music, culture, and heritage. And to the folks at Patreon.com, if you'd like to be a part of our Happy Hour family, go to Patreon.com and search for It's New Orleans Happy Hour. And for as little as $1 a month, you can be a part of our family and get exclusive stuff not available to other plebeians who just happen to be listening to this by sheer chance. Thanks so much for joining us. That's Happy Hour again for another week. The producer of our show is Graham DePonte. Our associate producer is April Stolf. Monique Pyle is our music producer. Our music consultant is Christian Unruh. Thomas Walsh is our technical director. And our Facebook live feed director, who put this whole thing on Facebook. If you want to find it, it's at It's New Orleans Facebook page, is Asher Griffith. Andrew Searock. Searock is our fact checker and social media connector. And our theme music was written by and is being played currently by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show, and you can stay upright while drinking alcohol for about 60 minutes, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com. You can also check out many other happy hours we've made previously, as well as some other shows you make around here, including Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti live from Commander's Palace, Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tucker, and our award-winning podcast about death, which is called Death the Podcast. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at itsacadiana.com and itsbatonrouge.la. You can keep up with us on a bunch of time-sucking social media like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. On all of it, we're called It's New Orleans. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our It's New Orleans Facebook page. These photos were taken today by Jill LaFleur. You can find more of Jill's photos at lafleurphoto.com. If you listen to this on your favorite podcast app, which you probably are, thanks for subscribing to us. Take a moment, if you have one, to rate and review us. That helps other people find us. If you're listening to us on Spotify, you can hit the little button that says follow and follow us and get Happy Hour delivered to you each week. Our show is recorded live today at Wayfair on Ferret Street, Uptown, New Orleans. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. Andrew Duhon is on the road somewhere around the country. You can find him at andrewduhon.com and see if he's in a town near you. Everyone around the table here at Wayfair, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you too to our folks back at our office at INO Broadcasting. I'll see you back here next week for more Happy Hour. I'm Grant Morris.